But one thing we know for sure is that if you look at the scriptures, it'll talk about tithing. And unfortunately, oftentimes people only think about tithing as related to money. Well, it's more than that. Mammon is, of course, more than money. It could be anything and all those things we strive after in the world and that we consume ourselves with. Anybody who's ever owned anything knows that if you own something, you know what you have to do with it? You have to take care of it, don't you? And it only stands to reason that the more stuff you have, the more care you have to give to it. This is, of course, why in the church fathers and in the monastics, you see this, you can see Christ. He says, give up everything and come follow me. Now, of course, for most of us, we're not going to be monastics, and we might not quite get to that point where we give up everything. But obviously, the more stuff we have, the more care we give to it, and this causes us great problems sometimes. So once again, going back to the principles and talking about a tithe, we not only tithe money, but we tithe our time. We give some portion of our time back to God who gave it to us. And this is true of also anything that one might call money or possessions. We take a portion of it and we give back to God those first fruits. And this indeed is our challenge. This is the way in which we keep mammon from ruling our lives, by giving back to God, giving back to others in that sense. That way we, of course, don't get consumed by the culture that surrounds us and the obvious exploitation and consumption of things. This is obviously not a problem that's new to today, because you hear scriptures talking about it, we hear concerns about it, and money is not something that we throw away and say that it does have no use. Obviously, we donate it, we tithe it. There is value to it in that regard. It is a means of exchange, a means of transferring our time, a means of transferring our efforts. That's where when we go to work, we get paid, and our time and our efforts are put into that, and we bring that time and effort and we return it back to God in terms of a tithe or a good or a possession that we may need. So in these days going forward, and perhaps maybe this week, you might consider the calendar and those types of things